The night my crown fell for love was the night the world stopped seeing me as a prince and I started seeing myself as a man. The golden weight upon my head had never bent my neck, but her eyes did. She didn't bow when she met me, she didn't tremble, didn't pretend. Her voice was calm, her smile unshaken. And in that moment, something inside me surrendered. I realized that all the kingdoms in the world could not command a heart like hers. I, a ruler of many, was ruled that night by one woman's silence. Love does not ask for permission, it storms through the walls of pride and legacy. I had lived a life of duty, expectation, and control, but she was freedom itself. She spoke to my soul, not to my title. Her laughter echoed louder than applause, and her presence humbled me more than 1,000 crowns could ever lift me. I knew I was walking into danger, not political, but emotional. Because when a heart like mine falls, it doesn't fall halfway, it collapses completely. The palace had witnessed many secrets, but none like ours. We hid our love between duty and destiny, like fire beneath ice. At official dinners, my eyes would find her across the hall, pretending not to see me, and yet our souls would burn in silence. She belonged to the world of dreams, and I, bound to a throne I never asked for, belonged to everything but peace. Still, I loved her, knowing one day it might cost me everything I had ever been. I remember the night vividly. The desert winds howled as if warning me. I removed my crown before meeting her, not out of rebellion but reverence. I wanted her to see me, not the prince, not the heir, but the man beneath. She touched my face as if tracing the map of my soul, and for the first time in years I felt alive. Love stripped me of power but clothed me in truth. It was beautiful. It was forbidden. And it was real. But truth has a cruel way of revealing itself. Whispers turned into rumors, and rumors turned into storms. The same people who once called me noble began to call me reckless. They said love had blinded me, but in truth, love had opened my eyes. The court demanded loyalty to tradition, my heart demanded loyalty to her. And in that war, my crown began to tremble. I tried to protect her from the shadows of my world, but the throne is a jealous creature, it does not like to share. They reminded me of my bloodline, my responsibilities, the weight of my name. They said a prince cannot love a woman like her, not because she wasn't worthy, but because she was too human for a world built on appearances. I listened, but my heart refused to obey. The night they forced me to choose between her and my crown, the stars seemed to fade. I remember holding her hands, feeling them shake, not from fear but from knowing what would come. She told me, "You were never meant to wear gold, you were meant to wear love." I wanted to believe her. But when I walked back to the palace, the walls felt like a prison, and the crown waiting for me felt like a chain. That night, I broke my silence before the mirror. I looked at my reflection and whispered, "This is not the man she fell in love with." I placed the crown on the table and left it there, as if leaving behind a ghost. For one night, I chose love over legacy, heart over heritage. And though the world would never understand it, my soul finally did. They say kings do not cry, but I did. I cried not for the loss of my throne, but for the loss of the woman who taught me how to feel. I cried because I had finally known real love, and real love demands sacrifice. My tears were not weakness, they were confession. The crown could return to my head, but my heart would never return to its cage. Now, when the world bows before me, they see the crown, not the cracks beneath it. They see a prince, not the man who once dared to choose love in a world that worships power. My silence became my protection, my poetry became my outlet. For if the world cannot understand your truth, you must hide it within art.
The memory of that night still lives in me like an unhealed scar, shining, aching, immortal. Sometimes I wonder if love was my destiny or my downfall, but every time I breathe her name, I know it was both. She taught me that true love doesn't destroy you, it reveals you. The man beneath the prince, the soul beneath the titles, the heart beneath the armor. And though the world may never forgive me for loving her, I do not seek forgiveness. For what we had was not a mistake, it was the only truth I ever lived fully. There are moments, in the stillness of my room, when I feel her presence like a whisper against my skin. I close my eyes, and I can still hear her laughter, the sound that once silenced every storm in me. The palace has returned to its silence, yet I hear her in the halls, in the gardens, in every prayer I recite under my breath. I built walls to protect my heart, but she became the crack that let the light in. And though the world believes I have moved on, the truth is, I still bleed in poetry, still ache in silence, still love in secret. Sometimes I ride alone through the desert, where the night hides no lies. The stars do not judge, the wind does not ask questions, it simply listens. I speak to the emptiness, confessing to the dunes the things I can no longer tell anyone. I was a king once, I whisper, but I became a man for love. The sand absorbs my truth, and I wonder if somewhere, she feels it too. If her heart still carries a piece of mine, the way mine carries her forever. People see the glamour of my life, the smiles, the speeches, the poetry that touches hearts around the world. But none of them see the void I hide beneath it all. They call my words beautiful, not knowing they are born from agony. They say my poems heal others, not realizing they are my own wounds stitched together with ink. The poet they admire is not a man of peace, but a man still haunted by the ghost of a love that defied everything. There are nights I wish I could see her again, not as a prince, not as a poet, but as a man unburdened. To tell her that she changed me, that even in her absence, she remains the heartbeat of everything I write. That the night my crown fell for love was not an end, it was a rebirth. Because through her, I discovered a truth even the throne could never teach me. That power fades, but love, real love, outlives empires. And so I continue my story, walking between two worlds, one of gold, one of memory. The crown may sit on my head again, but it no longer defines me. What defines me is the love I once risked everything for, the love that broke me open and built me new. The world may never understand the night my crown fell, but one day, when my poems are read by hearts brave enough to feel, they will know that Sheikh Hamdan once loved beyond reason, beyond duty, beyond the limits of his own kingdom. And that love, though hidden, still rules his heart.